What's up, party people, and welcome back to my channel. So today we are testing out some new drugstore makeup and seeing what's worth it and what's not. So let's get into it. First up, I have this Maybelline Color Tattoo 24-hour eye stick. It's just a cream eyeshadow stick in the shade I'm Confident. I actually have another one of these over here. I'm going to put into a different video. It's the bright pink. I'll go ahead and show you. This one right here, this one's in the shade I'm Unique, which is a neon, what you would call, I guess, Barbie pink. So it's very on trend right now, but I'm going to put this into another video. Yeah, on one side you got a little sharpener so you can keep it nice and pointy and sharpened. So yeah, it's just a basic like ivory nude. It's a really creamy eyeshadow stick and I like to use this to prime, and I really do enjoy it. It really just locks on, like it's not too drying. There is some stiffness to it though, so if you have mature eyelids, like if you have wrinkles and fine lines and stuff like that, you might find that it's kind of pulley and kind of tuggy. I do recommend working one eye at a time so that it doesn't have too much time to dry, but I mean, once it's on there, it's on there. As you could hopefully see, this just completely erased over my veins, my discoloration, unevenness. Like it just really cancels everything out, but it does it in a pretty natural way. So I'm actually gonna go into a bronzer slash contour stick and just kind of lay down the groundwork. So I'm gonna be honest, I feel a little intimidated by this next product because it's colors I don't use anymore. And I used to look at something and be like, oh, that would look good with that, and that would look creative. And I don't know, I feel like I've lost the eye. But we're gonna try to get it back today. So this is the NYX Ultimate Paradise Shock eyeshadow palette. I actually you can use this on your face too. Like there's a little diagram on the back where it shows a few different shades to put on your face. It says apply face pigments to your temples and cheeks to level up your look. Do not use on the eyes. Okay, so there's 3 shades in here, 2, 3, and 8. Let's see. Oh, they're the ones that are in like the little red square. Okay, so these 2 right here at the top, and then this orange shade over here. They're actually not meant to be used on the eyes. Face pigments, important, cannot be used on or around eye. Well, those are the shades I want to use on my eye. So disclaimer, do not put these 3 shades on or around your eye, okay? That is my personal recommendation. Am I going to uphold that? Probably not. I do want to do some swatches before I figure out what I want to use. Actually, let's go back to the back of my hand and do a little rub test with these Maybelline Color Shadow stick things. Yeah, these are pretty transfer resistant. They are not rubbing off or fading or bleed. I mean, this one's the pink one's kind of fading a little bit, but I'm really having to like pinch at it. Okay, there it's starting to move, but yeah, very, very long wearing. We're gonna do some swatches. In the morning, I'm making waffles. But honestly, I'm not super familiar with the NYX formulation as a whole. Like, I've not tried a lot of NYX eyeshadows. I think because whenever I would, I just wasn't impressed with the pigmentation, the formula. Like, it was just always kind of dry and lackluster and just didn't really do anything for me. But I do feel like this one is maybe an improved, different formula. So there are the 5 shimmers in the palette. So yeah, everything else are matte. So that's pretty cool. But I mean, like, they are super pigmented, very, very creamy. Wow, that's really pretty. Here are some of the mattes. So yeah, I think this is definitely a different formula. Then here are 5 more. So yeah, there are 16 shades total. Yeah, there is the palette. So what direction do I want to take? I don't know. Bear with me. This is going to be a lot, but we're just playing around. I'm going to start off with this little apricot skin tony kind of shade and put that on my crease just to see if it shows up. Barely. I'll go into this lighter tan shade down here, which is also matte, and just put it right on top. Excuse me, can you weed it somewhere else, please? Vamoose! All right, there is that. So yeah, very nice and smooth. Now I'll go into this shade that's not supposed to be used for the eyes. I do not advise this for the eyes, but I'm gonna do it. So that's a really pretty tone. Like, I feel like that'd be a really pretty just one and done kind of shade. Put on some eyeliner, some mascara, especially if you have blue eyes. It really makes your blue eyes pop. But you're not supposed to use it around the eyes, so don't use it around the eyes. Because I'm rebellious, I'm really drawn to this like salmony, pinky coral shade. Like, oh, it's just so freaking pretty. Yeah, I'm gonna go into this shade that you should not be using around your eyes. I'm dipping in one time, and it's doing like all the work for me. Like, there is no blending with this. Like, well, I mean, there is blending, but you know what I'm saying? There's very little work to the blending. Like, it just really blends itself in a way. So yeah, that shade, look at how they're like melting into each other. Like, this is definitely an improvement for NYX. So now I'm gonna go into that really pretty like bronzy shimmer. It's just a basic bronze, but I want to put this as my base for my eyelid shade, and then put the lime iridescent shade in the center to kind of make it pop a little bit. So far, very, very finely milled. It is super smooth. It doesn't look chunky. Now, pretty excited about this. I'm gonna go into that really pretty iridescent shade. So once again, that's what, oh, that is so cool. Okay, I'm just gonna plop this right in the center, kind of like a spotlight or like a halo eye. Now, this is where we're gonna get really creative. So I'm gonna go into that lime green, which I had no intention of using today. And I'm gonna take that on a little tiny brush like this, and I'm gonna put this in my inner corner. And this is the one that when I swatched, I felt the least excitement about, not just because of the color, but just the pigmentation's kind of like, meh. It's a little more on the sheer side, but I mean, for this purpose, I feel like it doesn't have to be super intense and in your face, but I feel like it really pairs well with the tones in that lime shimmer that we just put on. So I'm just gonna put this like I would a like champagne shade. I like it. I'm gonna go into that really nice, rich, dark matte brown. I'm just gonna kind of smudge this right on top of that and see how it looks as liner, because I like to use shadows as liner most of the time. So yeah, I like to have a good one in a palette. That is working out really, really well. That's a really nice, dark, rich brown. Yeah, there's the eye look. So I'm really impressed by the way this performed. The mascara, I have this CoverGirl Lash Blast Cleantopia mascara. So I'm gonna be honest, I'm not really sure how a mascara can be clean. So it says it's a plant-powered mascara inspired by the power of plants. You can tell someone was reaching with that. Like they really didn't know what to put in there, like how to describe a plant-powered mascara. So they just say, inspired by the power of plants. Clean vegan formula infused with aloe leaf extract, ceramide, and sustainably sourced rainforest maracuja oil. 72% natural origin ingredients. Up to 24-hour wear, smudge-proof, flake-proof, clump-free. I will say it looks a lot like the original like CoverGirl Exhibitionist mascara, which is amazing. I love that mascara so much. But let's go ahead and do one coat. I feel like it builds really well on itself. Like it's one of those that it's not super dry to where as you're applying it and like layering it up, it starts flaking and all that stuff, like clumping. Like it's a really good like separated, full, fluffy kind of look. All right, 2 coats versus 1. I definitely got more volume, more length, more thickness, just more of everything with the 2 coat side. It's not super wet, but it's definitely wet enough to where it kind of makes a mess. It's not that big of a deal. I can just go in with a Q-tip later on, but I mean, that is something that does kind of annoy me, but anymore is kind of expected. I'm gonna go ahead and finish up on this side with a 2nd coat. It builds up so well. Look at that. Like, as soon as I laid the brush to my lashes, it just automatically like whoop, pushed it back, gave me more length, gave me more volume. I like it a lot. All right, we are moving over into the face realm now. So let's go into some face primer. The first one I've got is this Kokie Essential Hydration Primer. It says it's blurring, hydrating, velvety texture, a lightweight cream primer that hydrates the skin and blurs the pores appearance, provides a healthy, smooth base for makeup application. So it starts out white, and then when you blend it out, it just automatically goes translucent. And I also have the e.l.f. Liquid Poreless Putty Primer, which I'm kind of surprised that this isn't going more viral than what it is. Anything e.l.f. goes viral now. Like I'm pretty sure they pay people to make their products go viral, but I mean, whatever. So yeah, this one says get the same lasting makeup grip and smooth finish of fan favorite Poreless Putty Primer, now in a silky weightless liquid. Allow 30 seconds to set before makeup application. So let's do this old gal first. It goes on like a moisturizer, like it's very lotiony. So yeah, I'm moving over to the e.l.f. Poreless Putty Primer in the liquid form. So it kind of looks like calamine lotion whenever you first squeeze it out. Like it's got like a very light pink, milky kind of texture. So let's go ahead and apply this. I've not used this yet. I've actually not used either one of these. Yeah, there's the e.l.f. side. So I'm gonna be honest, I don't really see a huge difference in the size of my pores. Like I don't really feel like it filled in my pores all that well, especially in comparison to the putty primer in the jar. Like I feel like that one does a lot better of a job at filling in the pores and just making your skin look very flawless, very poreless. But this one's just kind of giving me that smooth effect. Like it kind of mattify the shine a little bit. There's the e.l.f. side, here's the Kokie side, and in terms of the pores, I don't really see a huge difference, and this one doesn't even really claim, like this one does claim to blur the pores, but this one, like the e.l.f. one's more for actually filling them in, I feel like, but I don't really see a huge difference. So I don't have a new foundation to show you guys today, so I'm just going to use one that I already know. I'm just going to use the L'Oreal Age Perfect Radiant Serum Foundation. So in terms of the effects of the primers, I do feel like I see the effect of the e.l.f. one more now, but the Kokie one is just still kind of like meh. It's kind of like a moisturizer. Like, do you really need it? I don't know. My pores look about the same on both sides, honestly. Like, it may just be the foundation. For concealer, I have another new Kokie product. This is the Double Time Full Cover Concealer. It says smoothing, long wearing, and I'm assuming because it says full cover, it's supposed to be full coverage. First one I have is light tan. So There is Light Tan. And then we have Light Neutral, which the other one has like a warm-ish golden kind of undertone, and the Light Neutral looks a lot lighter. And then we have Light Sand. Oh my god, that one looks light too. Gosh. So yeah, Light Tan, Light Neutral, and Light Sand. I feel like Light Tan would, it kind of sounds like it would be the darkest. So we're going to use Light Tan. I'm just going to put a little bit on right there and see what I get with just one light layer first. Blends out and melts in very seamlessly and very quickly, so that's good. And I do like the shade. I feel like that's a good shade for my under eyes. I would say that's full coverage with one layer. It's got that like, that very creamy look to it. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and move on to other products right now and just kind of let this set before I go into powder. So moving on. I have this Maybelline Tattoo Studio Brow Styling Gel. This is the shade Soft Brown, but that's filling in the brows very quickly. Like it's really filling in all the sparse areas. The true test is what it feels like once it dries. Like I hate brow gels and brow mascaras that when they dry, they kind of give my, like the upper half of my face, like my forehead region, this really tight, like stiff, I can't move it or I might crack kind of feeling. Like I hate that feeling. I really like this formula so far. Like it's not too wet. It's dispersing a nice amount. Like it's kind of got some dryness to it to where you have some more control over how much is laid down. Really nice shade. I like the look of that. For bronzer, this is the Catrice Summer Obsession Bronzer Blush Highlighter Palette. So you got some blushes in here. You got a couple of different bronzer slash contour shades, and you've got 2 highlights. So this is a very like atypical kind of face palette. I feel like it's good for people that want to keep a more condensed collection versus having, you know, 2 or 3, 4 or 5 blushes, you know, and bronzers and different highlights. So you have everything in one palette and you can travel with it easily. I feel like a lot of this is waste, even though that's kind of what you're trying to avoid when you buy palettes like this. You may find one shade in here, like you may like one of the blushes or one of the highlights or one of the bronzers or contours, and then the rest of the palette goes unused. So here's a darker shade and here's a lighter shade. So if you're a deeper skin tone, yeah, no. This one's number 10 Sun-Kissed Breeze. So they might have darker shades in this for different skin tones. I'm not sure. They're both kind of like a neutrally, they've got a little bit of a cool tone-esque quality to them, but I feel like these are more neutral. So starting with the lighter one on this side, and no, I don't have setting powder or anything else down. Like I've still got just an unset tacky base for foundation and stuff. So this is what I like to do. I try to avoid using as much setting powder as possible. So I like to let my powder cheek products, if that's what I'm using, kind of set those areas for me where I don't have to use setting powder. Very smooth, very easy to work with. It just kind of, it blended on very, very easily. Let's go on the other side with the darker shade now. This one's got more of a cool tone quality to it. I actually like the darker shade better. I just feel like this one works for my skin tone better. So yeah, I mean, I'd probably mix the two together just to get use out of both of them. But I don't think I want to use them today, but I do want to go ahead and swatch the blushes in the palette just so you can see what they look like. So yeah, they're both really pretty, like corally undertone shades. Very, very pretty tones. I really like those. But the blushes that I do want to use today are also from Catrice, but these are just individuals. So these are the AirBlush Glows. That's really hard to say. AirBlush Glow. That's trippy. And I've got like 5 or 6 shades. So let's have a little swatch fest. First up is Rosy Love. So almost all of them have this really cool like striped pattern to where you have different tones in there. So this one is very, very pretty. That one has a little bit of shimmer to it, but it's very, very fun. The next one I have is Cloud Wine. So this one has like a mauve peach aspect to it. So let's put it right here. Ooh, that one's also a really nice like subtle sheeny kind of glow. Not really detectable shimmer. Once again, just kind of like a glow. So very nice. And this is one of the only ones that doesn't have different colors in the stripe. So this is Spy Space. This one's matte. There's not really any shimmer in this one, so I don't think it's going to be as glowy as the other ones, but that's a really pretty wearable kind of mauve. This is another one that only has one tone in it. This is called Peach Heaven. And I'm just now realizing that some of these are called AirBlush Matte and some of these are called AirBlush Glows. So the ones with shimmers are called AirBlush Glows. These are AirBlush Mattes. I didn't realize that until now, but here is what Peach Heaven looks like. So really pretty light peachy shade. And then the last one I have is Coral Sky, and this is another one of the glows. So this one has some shimmer to it. So this one looks like a very light, yeah, like a light peachy orange shade. So let's put it down here. The formula seems very nice on these. So I'm going to use the first one that I swatched, the Rosy Love, which is one of the glows. So let's just start putting it back here. I'm not sure how intense these are right out the gate. The color is really pretty, and I feel like the blend is really nice, and it's not overly pigmented, but it's also not so sheer that it takes forever to build it up. I feel like it's kind of pore emphasizing. I'm not sure how I feel about it. Let's do one of the matte ones. Let's do Peach Heaven on this side. I feel like this is a pretty close tone to the other one. I think I like the matte ones more, and I never thought I'd say that. I usually love shimmer and glow. Like I really hate matte, but I don't know, there's just something about the shimmer and the glow formula that kind of emphasizes my texture and my pores and stuff. It could just be the foundation. It could be other things going into play, but I really like the shades, and I think that there is definitely potential. Let's go into Coral Sky on this side just to see if I get that same kind of odd, like, pore emphasization. Yeah, it's kind of doing the same thing. I'm just going to go into my sponge on both sides and just kind of round out the edges to where it doesn't look so blunt and so, like, bam. When it's all said and done, that looks really pretty now. The longer they stay on my skin, the more I like them. So I do want to try something I've seen people do on TikTok. So I don't know if it was Patrick Ta or what's Kylie Jenner's makeup artist name, Ariel or something like that. One of them came out and said that they put cream or liquid blushes on top of powder blushes, which is kind of in reverse of what we're taught. Like, it's kind of, you know, it's always do your liquids and creams first and then your powders. Let's try it. But I've got another Catrice product. So these are the Catrice Cheek Flirt Face Sticks, R and Peach and Techno Pink. So let's do some swatches. Here is R and Peach. Am I reading that right? I don't know. I'll have everything linked below. Here's what the peach shade looks like. They're really doing a good job with tones. And here's Techno Pink. Oh, that one's really pretty too. These have a glow to them, but they definitely have some stiffness and like some gripping power too. I've not tried these, but I feel like I'm afraid I might have a hard time blending, but we're just gonna see. Let's start with the peach shade first. I'm just gonna go from the back of my hand, just use a swatch that I already put on there. Let's just start on this side. I'm not having the easiest time blending it out. Like, it's not horrible, but it's not just gliding. I'm seeing a little bit of glow from it, but I feel like the powders underneath are kind of like, they're holding it back a little bit. I'm just gonna wipe off the excess from that brush and just use the same one, and we're just gonna go into Techno Pink. Maybe just keep it towards my hairline versus bringing it all the way in. Kind of do like a gradient fade. It looks really pretty. I'm not sure about the formula, but I feel like the shades themselves are so gorgeous. So yeah, there's what Techno Pink looks like, and then here is R and Peach all over. So I might go into some more of that Techno Pink and just kind of do the gradient thing back here too, just to make it look symmetrical. Yeah, I kind of like that. Let's do a little bit over the nose too, just because that's what all the cool girlies are doing. I'm not really the biggest fan of it, but let's just do it just to try. We're just trying new things. Not too shabby. For cream highlighter, I have this NYX Jumbo Multi-Use Face Stick, and I got the shade Coconut Cake. So it's kind of like a warm, rosy toned champagne. Like, it may not be the best for my skin, but we'll see. I have used this a couple of times, and I've not been super impressed with it. Like, I don't really feel like it's noticeable. I don't really feel like it shows up once you blend it out. So you can see, like, where to go. So let's just go ahead and apply it directly from the stick. Maybe it's just not bright enough for my skin tone. That could be a possibility too, but the formula just doesn't really, there's just not really a lot of glow with it. I'm not gonna completely say this is a dud, but I don't love this one. So I do want to go back into the face palette from Catrice, the Summer Obsessions face palette. Let's go ahead and swatch the powder shimmers in here. Got like a whitish ivory shade and then your typical goldy champagne. Yeah, there's what those two shades look like. So let's do the lighter one starting out on this side. It's glowy, it's sheeny, but it's not, you know, glitter, chunks of shimmer, nothing like that. Like, it's a very, like, just kind of fuses and melts into your skin kind of highlight. Now let's go into that gold champagne shade right on top. Let's just see what they look like combined. This one, a little bit too gold for my skin, maybe just a tad bit. Like, it doesn't look one with my skin. Like, it just looks like it's sitting on the surface and it's not really melding. Personally, I'd probably just stick to the ivory shade. I may mix in a little bit of that gold champagne shade just to get used to it. Going back to my concealer, because we haven't said anything yet. So I do see some creasing. Can you guys see that a little bit? Like, there is some creasing right under my eyes, which is kind of expected. I mean, sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't. I think once I go into my setting spray hack, which I'll link up here so you know what I'm talking about, it's a game-changing concealer hack. Everybody needs to do this. But once I do that and add some like powder, I think it would be perfectly fine. I actually have worn those like one other time, and I did really enjoy it that day. I'm gonna go off camera and finish up the rest of my face, like do my lower lash line, do my setting powder, maybe my setting spray, and then I got a lip gloss. So I'll be right back. All right, that was quicker than I thought it would be. So yeah, I did my little setting spray hack, and the Catrice highlighters look a lot better now. Like, they look a lot more meshed and unified into my skin versus just sitting on the top and just looking like a stripe. So that looks a lot better now, but everything looks super pretty. Like, I love the way the eyes look, the face. So I did go ahead and go into a lip liner. I use the NYX Suede Matte Lip Liner in the shade Los Angeles. This is one of my favorite shades of all time from them. And I kind of want to try something different. So I've kind of been on the hunt for a blush stick that looks good enough to slap on my lips whenever I'm in a hurry. Let's slap on the peach shade from that Catrice blush thing, and let's just see how it looks as a lip gloss kind of situation. It actually does kind of have like a a lipstick feeling to it. That's pretty. I like that. Let's go into Techno Pink just for funsies. Wow, this works really well for lipstick. Like, this definitely does feel more like a lipstick than it does a blush. Yeah. Nice little diverse product, but I'm gonna take them off because that's not what I plan on using today. Let's apply a couple different things. Why not? We're here. So there's some new shades in the Maybelline Liquid Glosses, which are one of my favorite lip glosses of all time. So they have this new shade called Brass. And it's this really pretty like NARS orgasmy kind of shade where it's like, it's a pink base, but it's got a lot of gold shimmer throughout the formula. So let's see what this looks like by itself with just lip liner, like no lipstick underneath. I don't see a whole lot of the gold quality coming through. Like it just looks like a really glossy mauvey pink, but it's still really pretty. I love the formula of this. Like this is just such a nice, comfortable, slightly tingly kind of formula. There is Brass. So I think this is the one that I'll probably stick with. So this is a new shade in the Milani Keep It Full Nourishing Lip Plumper. This is the shade Luminoso, but this is such a pretty light peach with a really like nice gold shimmer. And this is another one of my favorite lip gloss formulas. Let's see what this looks like. Oh, that was a lot. Yeah, that's a really pretty shade just by itself. Like I love lip glosses that have enough opacity that you can just wear them with lip liner. So yeah, that is it for the looks. Now let's do a little final roundup. Like let's just kind of conclude my thoughts. Like what should you check out? What should you pass on? All the good stuff. I love the NYX eyeshadow palette. This is very top notch. Like I feel like the color story is beautiful. It's unique. The formula is definitely an improvement to what it used to be. I really do enjoy this one. The Covergirl Cleantopia mascara. I love the effect. I love how it builds on itself. It's a very fast building mascara, which I definitely appreciate for time's sake. It's not the absolute most amazing formula ever. I do think I like the Exhibitionist mascara from them better than this one. The Kokie Essential Hydration Primer. For me, this isn't a must-have. The e.l.f. Liquid Putty Primer. Again, I have some more testing to do with this. I don't think it's super special. Like I expected a lot more from it. I'll say that. Like I expected this to be like mind-blowing, like no pores whatsoever, flawless, and it's just not. The concealer I do think is one that's worth checking out if you're on the market for concealer. It wears really well, very minimal creasing for me, super mega smooth, very flawless, very airbrushed. So I think this is something worth checking out. The Catrice Summer Obsession Face Palette. Shades are beautiful. The formulas are nice. Like they're not chalky, they're not dry, they're not overly pigmented, they're not too sheer. I think the highlighters are probably my least favorite aspect of the palette, but aside from that, it's a really nice formula, really nice shade selection, but I just don't think it's a must-have for me in my collection. One that I definitely do think I'll grow to love are these Catrice AirBlush Matte and Glow Blushes. Like, even though I said earlier that my pores, my texture and stuff look kind of emphasized, I feel like now, like once it's all said and done, it just looks so just smooth. The colors are beautiful. Like they really, I don't know, they look kind of different for a powder blush. So I think these are so pretty. I'm still on the fence about the Catrice blush sticks. Like these are, like they didn't perform the best on top of the powder blushes. So maybe by themselves they'd be better and they, you know, blend out and stuff better. So I think these are also worth checking out. I don't really like the NYX Jumbo Stick in the shade Coconut Cake. Like I said, it may be better in a lighter shade. I mean, formula wise, it's just kind of meh. I do really like the Maybelline Tattoo Studio Brow Styling Gel. Like I love the color. I love the feel of it. Like I've got hold, but I don't have that stiff, tight, dehydrated feeling with my, you know, skin is like the skin surrounding my eyebrows. Like I really like these, and they are very, very long wearing. And you guys know I love the lip glosses and the Keep It Full Nourishing Lip Plumper from Milani. Yeah, overall, I feel like today was actually a pretty successful video. I mean, there was a couple of things that I don't love, but I mean, I don't hate anything. So yeah, I'm leaving happy, which doesn't happen very much, okay? Does not happen very much. So if you enjoyed this video, if you like to see new stuff put to the test for me, then make sure you give this a big old thumbs up. Here's a couple more things for you to check out next. Just venture around the channel, make yourself at home. Subscribe if you're not already, and turn the notification bell on to always see my stuff. And I will see you guys in the next one. Mwah.